So Charlene, if you want to open this up, if anyone has any comments or questions, I'll go ahead and I'll take this off the screen here in just a second if everyone's finished copying those down if they wanted to.
Yeah, we can always we'll shoot out. I know Jen will send out a note to everybody, and we can include your contacts.
Okay.
On there as well.
Good
Yeah,
deal.
no, thanks. Yeah, this is Charlene. Let me jump in real quick here.
Sure.
Following up on that, we had a few notes in the chat box. I wanted, before you get on the next part, just
sure, okay.
Kind of touch base on those. And Jen had a poll up. If y'all
yes,
poll results. So that's interesting. Just, you know, one person has a group that's inactive. We know that's happened before, where it goes inactive for a while and then maybe comes back as change in leadership. But it looks like a lot of people are exploring the process of starting one. So a couple of folks, Jason Jones in Durham. Jason, and just kind of following up on, you talked about, I think it's interesting that the department provides 20% of a full-time staff person's time to the foundation. That sounds like an interesting model. Are there anything that you were looking to tie down, Jason, especially as you're talking about a more formal agreement between the Friends group and DPR?
Yeah, so we have a foundation, and they have done some amazing things in their 5 years. It was started without a strong agreement in place, and one of the stipulations, or one of the things the city was able to offer, is some time from one of our full-time employees to be the liaison to our foundation. Part of the reason I'm on this call today is the city and the foundation, we've learned that there may be some challenges with that. So we're actually working through this new agreement to outline exactly what the responsibilities of the city are versus the responsibilities of the foundation. Essentially what we're trying to do is we've had a foundation's been around 5 years, and they've done wonderful, wonderful things with the best interest in mind, but we're concerned that there may be we need to re-clarify roles now with the new agreement that, in hindsight, probably should have been in place at the beginning. So now we have to A, put an agreement together, but we also B, have to realign where responsibilities lie and with which organization and how those are going to be supported. So we have two really big projects that are happening at the same time. And that's what we're working to address right now. The foundation has been wonderful, though. They have really helped us out with projects that, as a city, we weren't nimble enough to address ourselves. They've helped us with fundraising related to projects that kind of get dropped into our lap that need a matching requirement, and they have been absolutely wonderful for that. But now we just kind of we need to not necessarily renegotiate, but re-outline the resources that we each provide, or that the city provides to the foundation, and just kind of separate the two organizations a little bit.
Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing, because I think that's important.
Yeah.
Kind of, Doug, you and Beth had talked about kind of what defining those roles as y'all started, and even before we started, Beth, you were saying as y'all put this together, it was almost like an evaluation process of kind of seeing, okay, this is what we've done. So I think you do need to check back in, and check in on those aspects and readdress them and remind everybody, kind of like, you're like when you do advisory board retreats and things like that, just kind of refocusing on what everybody's working on. And we can come back at the end, Doug, because I know there's a couple others that have comments or may want to share on theirs, because I know Peter from Mount Airy put a note, which I thought some of their fundraising from their foundation goes to scholarships. So another list, and kind of this list of really creative things that you can do with your friends group. But I think
that's great. Yeah, we only have a couple more slides, so I would love to to get some feedback and answer any questions or whatever. Jason, I appreciate what you said, because and I think that was really crucial. And I know that we're kind of young in this, but the fact that we were able to talk that through a whole lot from the very beginning, and really to have that clear understanding up front was helpful. And, you know, a lot of it too depends on who you're working with. You know, Beth is a phenomenal person. So, you know, you sometimes you're just lucky that you have somebody like that to work with. But,
how's everybody doing today?
hey, Darren.
Good.
Doug, sounds like you guys are doing some really creative things. We do a lot of similar things as yourself. I guess the biggest priority for our foundation when it was created back in 2005 was to provide scholarship opportunities for underprivileged youth and disabled adults. So no one in our community would be denied access to recreation services. That was our number one priority for our foundation. It has evolved and expanded over the years by helping with special appropriations for programs or facilities. We have a computer lab here now in our recreation facility that's foundation supported. And then also we have a youth fitness area we call the Fit and Fun Zone, which is, you know, unique ways to get children to exercise in a fun way. And the foundation actually paid for both of those areas. And then we have added a, I guess you can say, component to our foundation within the last couple of years. We've added a gift catalog where people can donate specifically for our parks and greenways. We have a 5-member board. Me being the Parks and Recreation Director is one of those 5. And then we have 4 at-large community members. And one of those is always we always try for one of those 4 to be an attorney. So they have helped and will, of course, donate their services anytime that we need to update or add anything to our, you know, 501c3 status, you know, anything donation-wise that they take care of. So it has been crucial for us. We have just partnered with the Manatee School System on an Ellis education grant that the schools, it's through the Department of Public Education, but they could not apply for it. They had to apply for it in partnership with a 501c3, and we have just been awarded that, found out yesterday on that. So there's a lot of opportunities if you don't have one in your community, that if you do create one, that it just opens things up for you.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks. You know, one of the things you said there is that you're on the board there. Here in Valdez, I'm actually, my family and I are members of the Friends of Valdez Rec, but I'm not on any kind of board or leadership. And I don't know if that would be an advantage or disadvantage. Have you felt, Darren, has that been helpful for you to a seat there? I don't know, not that I want one, but what is the benefit from your standpoint?
It's been outstanding for us, of course. You know, I am a voting member as well. So when it's a project of anything that we have or want, you know, I'm one of the 5 votes. If it is to fund the summer activity program that we do with the local housing authority, to where all those kids in the housing authority during the summer months, we provide recreation activities and they can participate in swim lessons for free. You know, the foundation has committed $10,000 each summer to continue that program. We first got that through an NRPA grant, and of course that was a once and done with them, but our foundation agreed to keep that going. And and again, I'm one of those 5, and I'm a voice that specifically talks about our needs of the recreation department for some unique things such as that. And I don't want to say sway the votes of the other 4 members, but maybe a little more in tune to exactly what needs the recreation department has. So that part has been a benefit for us.
I would not want Doug on our board as much as I love him and we work together, because he is hardened to the town and the town is broke and blah, blah, blah. So we're able to just hash out things that we want, get our ducks in a row to be able to go and present to Doug and sway him and win him over. And so I wouldn't want him on the board, but I think our constant communication, I know what he wants and what he would like to happen. And so I don't want him there with our little, as we decide things and shoot it down before we decide that's what we want to go with. Sorry, Doug.
And ours, with that being said, you know, our foundation, the bylaws and the guidelines are set up, you know, specifically where they will not fund any type of capital or equipment needs or program needs that should be normally operated within the recreation department. You know, I can't ask them to buy 10 basketballs for our youth basketball program, or, you know, art supplies for summer camp. You know, they're not going to fund anything like that. It is a special project, something maybe outside of the norm of what a Parks and Recreation department would do, or has to do, I guess, maybe of the services that we have to provide. There's a more of unique special appropriation projects.
That's good. It sounds like actually your friends group has a little different focus, or a little broader focus, and it's probably good as you're establishing that to make sure up front that you're on the same page with the group when you're forming. And you know, our relationship is a little different than that, and it's been very positive, but I can understand, you know, based on what you guys are doing, how important that is for you guys to do it that way.
No, there's some things that I think totally with what you've shared today, Doug, that we could incorporate into some of the things that we're doing. So it's been very informative.
I will say this, some of you guys, I think there's at least 1 or 2 private messages on here, and I will try to get them before we get off, but I haven't been able a chance to read these chat things. I'm not really good at talking and reading at the same time. So please feel free to send me an email or something if I miss getting that back to you before we get off here.
Yeah, Doug, Jen will read some more of the questions here, and we can definitely send you the chat messages too.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we just had one last question from Byron in Cabarrus County. And I think at one point he said that Cabarrus is supported by Partnership for Parks. If I got that right, Byron?
Hey, Jen. Yes. So we have a Partnership for Parks account. So we do not have a friends group, but we do have a 501c3. So I'm very interested in the friends group piece of it. So I guess my biggest question is, what's the sell? How do you sell your friends group? How do you get the buy-in? How do you get the membership? Give me your top reason so I can take it and throw it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let Beth answer that too, but from my standpoint was this group established, I guess they were established outside of your group, outside of your department. So they probably have a bigger picture of what they deal with than just your particular department. Is that correct?
Doug, I apologize. It broke out and I did not get to hear your question.
That's okay. I was just going to say, is that the group that you're talking about, Friends of Cabarrus, they reach out more than just your department. Is that correct? They're reaching out to recreation all over. Is that right? Maybe it's still not coming through.
Well, I'll just go ahead and say our big sell is you should join Friends of the Valdez Rec if you want more going on in Valdez. That we're here to make the department even better and have more programming, more parks, more events, and that you should get involved for the camaraderie, that you should get involved to be giving back. If you're out there hiking the trails and mountain biking and picnicking at our different parks, you should take a hand in helping keep those clean, keep them better, keep them maintained, and just help our town and our community better as a whole. That we need your help to be better. And if you're on Friends of the Valdez Rec as a member, you get more say into what happens.
Right. And Beth's group was started specifically for our department. So it wasn't a Burke County program or Western North Carolina Friends group. It was directly started for our department. So that might be different than the Friends of Cabarrus County, or I don't know how that works exactly, but if you're looking for someone that can directly help your department, maybe you would see about starting a specific friends group for your department rather than just one for the region or for the county. And I might be misunderstanding that question. I hope I got it right, but.
Yeah, so what Beth answered was exactly what I was looking for, is what's the pitch. And so that's what I was looking for. So right now we don't have a friends group. We just have a 501c3. And so that's where I'm looking for, is how do I package the two to be able to utilize the funds we have available in the 501c3.
Awesome. That's it. And find somebody like Beth. That's my biggest recommendation.
Yeah, I had, this is Charlene. I see also Liz Snyder on there, comment on just, finding time to commit to soliciting partnerships and exploring potential funding grants has held up their movement. So I know, you said finding a Beth is important, but it is difficult to, you have to keep those volunteers engaged. So any advice on kind of how do you keep that momentum and carve out that time?
Wow. Well, from my standpoint, I would be dishonest if I said I had to motivate Beth or her group to do anything. These guys are keeping the fire under my rear end more than I am theirs, because these guys want to do things. And that's why it's so important to find the right person. And I think if you're going to put any effort into it, put your effort into finding the right person or right group of people to get something like this started. If you get the right people, it's going to really minimize the effort you're going to have to make to keep things going, because the right people are already motivated. And if you just communicate regularly with them, they will take the ball and they will run with it. And that's what we've seen here. And I do not have to motivate this group. Now, if you get people who aren't motivated and you just kind of drag people onto something like this, you're going to have a full-time job trying to keep them going. And that, I know that none of us have time to do that. Say, put all of your effort on finding the right people. That's the thing that's been helpful for us. And part of mine, I just stumbled across Beth, and it was a huge blessing not to have to go through, having to motivate this group and keep constantly trying to get them to do things. They are way, they're doing way more than I can imagine a group doing. So